Hi, I'm Swankivy, and this is a video for the Sexual Futurist. One thing people ask early and often when they find out I'm asexual is whether I would like a partner anyway. I mean, surely, even if I don't want sex in my relationships, I still want a partner, right? Asexual people generally break down into two types when it comes to romance: romantic asexuals and aromantic asexuals. I'm an aromantic asexual, and in my case, that means a person who's not interested in a partner of any kind. Most people would say that an aromantic asexual is a person who does not experience sexual attraction or romantic attraction. Before I go into the types of romantic possibilities that are possible for asexual people, I should just say that romantic partnerships are not the only kind of long-term relationship that a person can have. Sometimes asexual people form partnerships that are devoted and strong and long-lasting, but not romantic. They may even live together and support each other like other kinds of more traditional romantic partners, but not feel romantically about each other. And anyone can find themselves in a situation like this, not just asexual people. That said, the question of how romantic asexuals deal with partnerships can be a complicated one. Most people suggest that a romantic asexual's only option would be to find a romantic partner who's also asexual, and that arrangement can work. But it isn't the only option, and the dating pool of compatible romantic asexuals can be very small. Keep in mind that romantic attraction can sometimes be limited by gender. Romantic asexuals can be heteroromantic, homoromantic, biromantic, and panromantic. They aren't necessarily romantically inclined toward people they'd be friends with, just like anyone else. Because romance and friendship aren't the same thing, and romance isn't defined by whether sex is happening. You've heard of friends with benefits, right? Well, if the sex doesn't make the friendship into a romance, I'm sure you can imagine that lack of sex doesn't automatically demote a romance to a friendship. And I say demote because people put just in front of friends for that very reason. However, most asexual people who are interested in a romantic relationship end up in a relationship with a person who does experience sexual attraction. And in that case, they just have to do what any other partnership has to do: figure out their needs and figure out how to compromise where necessary. When we say compromise, most people assume that we mean the asexual has to figure out how to put up with sex. But that's not the only option. It is one option if the asexual person isn't repulsed by sex. Some asexuals are indifferent toward sex, or they may even like it, and it's up to them to decide whether they want to incorporate that into their relationships. Here are some compromises that can be made in partnerships that include both asexual and non-asexual people. Sometimes a partner with sexual needs is willing to give up sex for the asexual partner, and either ignores or dismisses their sexual urges, or they'll take care of them themselves through masturbation. Sometimes an asexual person agrees to have occasional or regular sex, depending on the degree of tolerance or interest in sex the asexual person has. Sometimes the partners agree to an open relationship or open marriage, in which the partner who wants to can seek out other partners. Sometimes an asexual person is part of a polyamorous group in which the other partners satisfy their sexual urges with each other. Sometimes the partner or partners with sexual needs can be satisfied by physically intimate play that does not actually lead up to sex. Some asexual people enjoy or tolerate kissing, cuddling, making out, petting, or stimulating a partner's genitals manually or using toys. The important thing to remember is that if you believe you are owed sex in a relationship and that the asexual person's preferences are the only ones that should be compromised, you probably shouldn't date an asexual. It's fine if you feel it's a deal breaker for a partner to not be sexually attracted to you or to be unwilling to have sex with you. You have that right. Just don't try to pressure your asexual partner on the grounds that you believe that your sexual needs are more important, and date someone who wants what you want. And while couples therapy sometimes helps in complicated situations, don't go to a therapist who only focuses on the asexual as the source of the problem. The problem isn't the asexual person doesn't want sex enough, any more than the problem is that the non-asexual person wants sex too much. It's that your sexual needs aren't equal. You can decide how to address this together, but if you want it to work, everybody in the situation has to have mutual respect for each other. A relationship with an asexual person isn't all or nothing. Everyone's different, and if you're an asexual person, you shouldn't feel like anyone has the right to insist that sex be a part of your relationship if you're not okay with that. You can find someone out there who wants what you want or is willing to work with you for mutual happiness. Don't listen to people who say abusive things like, "You're gonna die alone in a house full of cats." Asexual networking and dating sites are available for those who only want to date other asexuals, and plenty of options are available that respect your rights and needs in dating non-asexual people. It's hard, but all relationships have speed bumps. No asexual person should be made to feel like they're unreasonable for wanting a romantic relationship that doesn't include sex. And contrary to popular belief, not every non-asexual person considers sex essential in a relationship, or at least they don't consider it your duty. People who object to sexless relationships are usually pretty loud, shouting about how cruel it is for an asexual partner to deny their partner sex, or shouting about how it isn't a real relationship without the sexuality aspect. But what I think sounds a lot crueler is expecting an asexual person to learn that their feelings in a relationship aren't as important, or that they have to be unhappy with their sex life in order to deserve companionship at all. There are tons of ways an asexual person can have a relationship, and the keys to making it work are communication, respect, and education. Incorporate these, and don't let anyone say you don't have a right to them. Asexual people can still marry the prince and live happily ever after. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Swankivy, and this has been a vlog for the Sexual Futurist. Peace.